Hi Doris, welcome to private reading. We may have to put up with some noises you probably don't want to hear, which is workmen working on houses in my street. It's the summer holidays and it's the time that people who have lets and student houses just spend the entire time making noises with bloody, you know, and all that stuff. So hopefully it won't get too bad. Okay, right. I did a reading for you back in October. I had a look at that. And this is a kind of a different thing, or may not be, I'm not sure. You are Cancer Sun, Cancer Moon, Venus in Cancer, which is a lot of Cancerian. This is the year of eclipses in Cancer, and we had the first one was 13th of July 2018. We had an eclipse in Cancer, and then we had one, when was the next one? Well, it's in Cancer and Capricorn this year, and I think the next one was on the 2nd of July, wasn't it? And then we have another one on the 10th of January 2020. And then I think we have one more in June 2020. So between kind of July 2018 and July 2020 is a difficult and formative time for Cancerians, where they do stuff like buying houses, getting married or divorced, you know, big things happening. And also when you've got eclipses in your sign, it really feels like there's nowhere to hide, there's nowhere to turn, and there isn't, in a way. And I guess that is, I don't know, eclipses are difficult. Let's just say it's difficult. So, you've had a feeling for a while that whatever you do gets difficult, and that it's useless to reach out to people to solve problems or clarify situations. Okay. To find common ground in communication. You bought a house with your son, which is a big house. It's big enough for 2 families. So I don't know if you were planning on selling it, letting it, or doing Airbnb with it, or I'm not sure. One thing I do know is that I did up a house once. A film definitely not to watch is one called The Money Pit with Tom Hanks, where they buy this enormous house and they do it up, and it's just, yeah, it's all the things about doing up a house. You know, they get a film of builders in and they disappear on them, you know, and all the rest of it. I mean, it just is every scenario. It's funny, it's good, but maybe don't watch it at the moment. What you're describing is very normal. You know, it's notorious, and it was the same when I did it. It was hideous. It's hideous. It is hideous, and I lived in it at the same time. So yeah, and you have that part to come. So, but that is normal, and it does, it's hard to kind of see it when you're in the middle of it. It feels like the end of the world. It feels like you've made a huge mistake, and it feels like it's never going to end. And you're in this, you dream about it. I remember that. I used to dream about guttering and which tiles and damp proof courses, and oh God. And also I think, I don't know why, but as a woman dealing with all these men that come into the house, well, you know, I can't do that. Oh, well, you should have done this, you know, and you're thinking, what? And it usually turns out to be a load of old BS as well. And then after scaring the pants off you, they bang a few pipes and disappear off for a week on another job. Yeah, that is normal. Doesn't mean you've made a bad decision, just means you're in the throes of the process. Now, I don't know, you've got a bank loan, of course, and I don't know what your thoughts are about the house. You know, I don't know whether your thoughts are about selling it less done up or living in it. Anywho, right. Yes. I'm just doing some animal spirit cards as well. One thing I do know, which you may not want to hear, but I only know this because I've been through it. And I do go through periods of this myself. I'm a water sign and you're a water sign. Sorry, I keep having to swig coffee because I'm losing my voice. Particularly in your eclipse years, actually. There are times in your life when you feel like you can't get arrested. You can't do anything right, you know. It's just... you become an SHIT magnet. And you have to be very careful about these times, because I do it too. I can do it in this course of about 3 days. You know, if I have a bad 3 days and I'm angry and I'm feeling powerless, angry, useless, failure, lonely, whatever very low vibrational but very normal emotions are, I find that I attract arguing people. Like, let's say I would then walk into town to do some shopping. I find I attract shop assistants who want an argument. I attract people fighting in the street near me. I will attract bad people on the phone and call centres. And then I will be like that with them, or I will just be upset and I'll think, why is everyone getting at me? Why? Why is it so hard? And unfortunately, my experience of this, and I know that if you look at things like law of attraction, they will say everyone is you pushed out, everyone is a mirror to you and all that. And I don't follow a doctrine 100% of anybody's, you know, whether it's religious or spiritual. So I don't just sign up blindly and say, you know, it's all about you. But I can't deny, and it's always the last thing you want to hear when you're in this kind of mood, I can't deny that when I am the common factor in this situation and I'm in that kind of frame of mind, honestly, I do attract all of the stuff you're talking about. All of this argy-bargy, all of this kind of... it's like the opposite of easiness and luck, isn't it? And the only way out of it... I mean, there are immediate problems you have. We have a time constraint. That's why I bumped your reading, because you've got this parents' evening, okay? So there are immediate things you have to deal with, like this angry parent. But at the same time, much, much deeper than that is dealing with yourself. You do need to raise your vibration. And I know that sounds like raise your vibration, you know, and I'm not wanting to go down that biddly-doo, raise your vibration, you know, but it is true. I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true. And I am, although I'm a tarot reader, you know, I come from a scientific family and I'm quite kind of no nonsense myself. And I have to say this is through my own life experiences. And I've seen it in other people. I've observed it after I observed it in myself. And it's staggering how much you can attract, and it never ends. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, and you want off that wheel. And it won't matter what you do, it won't work while you're in that frame of mind. So, which one shall we begin with? Which shall we begin with? Itchy nose. Right. I've got B. B is someone who is a hard worker. You're working hard, but you get overheated. Right. Whatever has happened with the teacher, with the parent and you as a teacher, whatever has happened with the house is not because you're not working hard enough. Actually, it's because I think you're working too hard to get things right. Okay? B. B is when you get all zzzt about things. Somehow, you're going to need to take fear out of the situation as much as you can, because work things are a nightmare. Work things put the fear of God in you because your own credibility is at stake, and also it's confrontational. You're a water sign, we don't like confrontation, and there's mystery. You don't really know what you've done here, okay? This is a potentially messy situation. If you can, and this is hard, but you can do it, be curious about it. Don't take it personally. And I know that it feels completely personal. Don't take it personally, okay? Now, to me, this situation can't go on where you don't talk to the parents. So the headmaster needs to facilitate that somehow, because you can't just have a slagging match with an angry parent. That isn't going to work for you, and it isn't going to work for them. So it sounds like you need a meeting, and I've done this myself when I've had to go into my son's school in the past, although I wasn't really an angry parent, more a tired parent. Like, just tell me what he's done and I'll go home. But it's always been for me either the headmaster, the teacher in question, and the pupil. Or if the pupil isn't there, the teacher, which is you, and a third party, which really would be the head or the head of year, because it's not actually your responsibility if someone's made a complaint. And the way to think of it, and I've come to this realisation in later life as well, probably some of what this parent is saying is true. Take aside the fact they're angry and they may not be being very fair, blah, blah, blah. People are awful when it comes to their own children. I probably am too. I've kind of learned not to be, but there was a time when I should think I was awful. We all are, aren't we? We get all up on our grill when it's about our own children. So just forgive them for that. Be compassionate. You know, they may be rude, they may be angry, they may burst into tears, they may be upset, any combination of those things. But the point is, you need to know what their grievance is. And there may be some truth in it. And that's okay. Hear it. You know, and if you think, okay, maybe I could have done that differently, say so. Okay, because you're a human being and you're a teacher, and it's a nightmare profession. My parents were both teachers, my sister's a teacher, my auntie's a teacher. I decided not to be a teacher because it's too bloody hard. You know, you can't win when you're a teacher, it is a nightmare. And my sister, I remember saying she had parents having goes at her all the time, like marching into the classroom and all sorts of stuff. So please don't take it personally. Please be curious about it. Please be solution focused, because at the moment you are on a downer, and that means that we look for problems. We do. You look for problems. You can't help it, and problems look for you. Weird. You're going to get this reading today. It gives you a night to sleep on it. Seriously, right? You may be able to find videos on YouTube where you can do scenarios, like meditation scenarios for things to turn out well. You can do those if you want. If you want to do those, you might find something on Agnes Viverelli, Agnes Viverelli. Otherwise, force yourself if you have to, but it will become easier, to think there will be a solution to this, there will be an outcome, this will be better than I think, this will be easy, this will be good, this will be okay, I will learn from this, they will learn from this, we will move on. At the same time, if you can help it, and this is just in the normal professional world, I wouldn't meet that woman on your own, because you're not protected. You know, yes, she might have a point, maybe she doesn't. I think that's the curiosity thing. We're going to find out what her grievance is, but you don't listen to it alone, because it's not fair on you. You're a teacher, you're a professional, you need to be represented, and so does she. There needs to be a third party. So if you need to arrange that and not have this meeting, don't have the meeting with her. In the middle of your reading, you've got the Emperor. Take dominion, take charge, okay? This is the masculine. Sometimes as a woman, as a single woman, and you know, I know what that's like, you are compromised by workmen and parents and stuff they would never throw at a man, to be honest with you. And I'm not getting all radical feminism about it, I'm just calling it how I've experienced it. Sometimes it's necessary to just take charge, okay? Now have a think with the curiosity and the solution focus always, not about how this is going to be bad and it's a problem and what the hell and oh my God. No, solution focused. Are you comfortable meeting her on your own? If you're not, professionally you ask third party, head teacher, whatever, to be there and to facilitate it so that you can get the best out of it and remain safe and protected for you, safe and protected for her. I wouldn't speak to her on the phone. I wouldn't have any exchanges with her in writing. I know she doesn't want to anyway, but you don't want to do that because anyone can say anything about anything. You want it all third party, face to face. Be solution focused when you're talking to her, when you're talking to the head, when you're talking to anyone. Be curious, be confident, okay? You may still be scared, you may still be taking it personally, but don't fall into that trap, okay? And you could be surprised at how it can work. You have no control over it. It's not about controlling the outcome. You can't control other humans and what's gone on with their kids and stuff, but you can control how you manage it, okay? The Fool, nice card, Major Arcana. The Fool is the 0 card of the Major Arcana, and in a way you need to get into that energy with all of these things, okay? You've bought this house and there is a bank loan on the house, okay? It is a new adventure in some way, okay? There will be positive things about it, and again you need to be solution focused. How can I make it as comfortable as possible for when I move into it? What is the best way this house can pay for itself if you want it to be a financial thing rather than a home, okay? Can I Airbnb it? Can I make it a project? Can I whatever it is? There will be things, okay? If this house is for you to have a home and to live in, how can I make this as homely as possible with what I've got going on now? And then try, and again, like the meeting, see this being solved. See the people becoming reliable. You at the moment are expecting the worst, and I'm not criticizing you for that. I'm not, it doesn't work like that. I just know that I've done it and I still do it, and I honestly have to go to rock bottom and start writing gratitude lists. This is how it goes for me, okay, when I get into this mindset that you're in. I start being grateful for having bladder control. That is my first port of call because usually I'm in such a bad mood that I can't think of things to be grateful for. So I just remember a time in hospital when I had a catheter and I say thank you for bladder control, okay? Thank you for sight because I can see. Really basic stuff so you're not getting triggered. What I do it on an app on my phone. You can just do it on a list. Write down 5 things. As I do it once or twice a day, and it doesn't even matter what they are, that you are grateful for. And like I say, start low, because sometimes you have to start low, start the bar low and work your way up. It transforms things. It means that you can weather the storms and you can just see it in a different light. It's amazing how much of things is just down to our perception of them. And sometimes when we get kicked in the teeth, you know, like you had that thing with the guy last year that didn't work out, and then you have, you know, it just gets a bit heavy, doesn't it? It gets a bit tiresome. It gets a bit, you know, when am I going to get a break? Unfortunately, with life, you do have to see the breaks even when it seems like there aren't any, because then there will be. Now, I don't know why it works like that, okay? I don't know why it works like that, but it does. Four of Swords, making peace. Making peace with a situation. Moon and Libra. Now, you're a water sign, you're sensitive. It's difficult when you're a water sign because you feel things and you kind of need reassurance. You may not get that at the moment, okay? Now down the bottom, Seven of Swords. That's interesting. Let's have a looky-see. So your headmaster, if it's a man, he may not be brilliant at managing this situation. I kind of thought that before. For the Seven of Swords, I get the King of Cups in reverse. Now, it usually represents a weak kind of a man. It can represent that there's been issues to do with the masculine and alcoholism in your family or in your history with men, you know, being let down. So it may be to do with that. Because the Seven of Swords is kind of being double-crossed or let down, okay? And the Nine of Swords is to protect. Don't let that throw you into a spin. You can still win this situation. You can still be solution-focused. Just know that the head teacher might not be, even if you're in that kind of meeting or even if they seem like they're not supporting you, it can still turn out okay, all right? You might be cleverer than the head teacher at the end of the day, which nobody ever appreciates. Sorry, we've just started some soaring. Oh my God. Okay, there are some issues from the past or childhood, okay? Something to do with this King of Cups. Could be an ex-husband. They either have something to do with drinking normally, or it's to do with being very kind of non-committal, not keeping promises, letting you down. Seven of Swords. Feeling overprotective. Just be careful that you're not being overprotective about old hurts. In other words, you've got to be a clean sheet for each new person that you meet. And I know that that sounds easier said than done. And of course it is easier said than done. But it does transform your life. At the moment you are expecting people to let you down, and they will. They will take you at that and they will let you down. Got the returning to whatever those issues were with the King of Cups and the Nine of Wands, okay? Don't be defensive against the wrong people. The other people are just people. Whatever this was someone who directly did personally let you down, okay? Four of Cups, emotional, it's what I call the meh card. You need to find things that are inspirational again, and that can be small things. Sometimes for some people it's taking up walking, I don't know, swimming, anything. You know, it's very personal to each person, but there has to be something that you do that is pleasurable, even if it's a small thing, because you're in the middle of doing up a house. It's one of the most stressful things. I just feel like you need to be your own cheerleader a bit more than you are at the moment. And it sounds really, you know, it's all self-love and self-worth, but when your self-worth takes a nosedive like this, other people treat you accordingly. They treat you like dirt. And it's a weird magnetic scenario, okay? You get the fish. Now, we get the fish when we are emotionally reactive to situations. At the moment, you're looking for evidence that you should be happy, or looking for evidence that things should be better, and you're not finding it, and that's making you feel angry, sad, repressed, frustrated, whatever it is. The antidote, or the cure to this, is this Emperor energy. Also the Father card. So if there are any issues from the past with your father, it will be about that too. This Emperor energy is very, it is about taking charge. He's in charge of an empire. You have to see your life as an empire. It has to be worth taking charge of. Don't let other people's reactions, behaviour, actions, whatever, dictate your emotional state, because that will blow you around like a leaf in the wind. And really, it will blow you into the gutter at the moment, because you are on a bit of a run, okay? Know that you can turn that run around, the Fool. Now, you can Google positive thinking and you'd have to probably wade your way through some really irritating stuff, but find someone or something that you like, okay? I like Agnes Vivarelli because she's down to earth. She's not too hippie kind of mumbo jumbo for me. Find who you like, okay? Because honestly, you've got the Seven of Cups here as well. Some of this is just your own perception of how things are. If you start looking at gratitude and you work your way up from bladder control upwards, you've got an awful lot going for you, okay? Which of course sounds really annoying when you're in the throes. That's a good card. Truth be told, that is the other thing. When you go into a meeting, if you absolutely and utterly tell the truth about everything, which you will anyway, but I mean everything, you're kind of untouchable. And the truth involves, you know, I felt really worried when I heard about this. I felt really unprepared for this meeting. I felt really frightened when I heard that I'd supposedly done something wrong, and I'm really worried and I really want to find out what it is so we can solve it. Do you see what I mean? Every truth comes out. Not, I need to be professional, which is what I would think too. I must be professional, I must say the right things. No, you must speak from the heart and tell the truth all the time, and then you are beyond reproach, okay? Honesty, accepting things at face value, coming out of denial, the willingness to be transparent, clarity of communication. It's also asking for what you want of other people rather than waiting for them to give it you and then being frustrated when they don't. There is the truth, which is the essence of a thing, and then there is a truth, subjective according to the philosophy of the believer. This is not a time for debate about which truth is truer. This is a time when you're called to proclaim your truth out loud and be willing to be transparent, honest and open in your communication with others and with yourself. Nothing less than surrender to what is. Peeling off the layers of denial that kept you tied to illusion will set you free. Be authentic and gloriously flawed. That means be gloriously flawed. You are a human being. And Spirit will answer with miracles. Are you willing to do whatever it takes to experience the prosperous life that you desire? If you want to be an artist, do you make your art a priority? If you want to be a healer, do you set aside time to learn new things to help you serve? A writer must write and a singer must sing. Being true to your calling is essential to moving forward. There's another message here. It's time to have a real, honest truth about your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs about prosperity, about your relationship to money, to compensation, and to meaningful work. Ask yourself, what is true for me? And you'll find the key to abundance. I like that a lot. Let's have a healing with the angels card. Yep. Self-acceptance, the hardest one of all, okay? With your flaws, again, don't take it personally. There will be something in this complaint that is worth hearing, probably what you least want to hear. That's what I find when people complain about me. Playfulness. That's about trying to find something that you love, okay? You're probably not going to love doing up a house. You may not love entirely being a teacher. Find something that you love. Something's got to make your bell ring at some times, okay? And then when it comes to this meeting, make sure you're protected with a third party, of course. And then speak absolutely the truth from the heart, okay? Every step of the way. Don't try and be clever. Don't try and be professional. Try and be true, okay? Because nobody can really argue with the truth. So I hope that's given you some clarity. Please send me an email, okay? Let me know how it resonates. Namaste.